Hi everyone and welcome to Otakusphere Weekly-ish. I'm working on that. It's still mostly weekly. This is episode 11. I am Karen, and with me tonight are Sal.
Hi.
And Lifesong.
Hello.
Hey, normally LB is here, but he had a conflict, so he couldn't be here this evening. That means I get Sakamoto all to myself. Ha 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 ha. But, we have plenty of things to discuss, even without Sakamoto, so... I think we shall start with our general otaku's chat. And Sal, why don't you start us off? What did you do this week that was interesting?
Let's see. This week I went back to playing The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel for the PS3.
Okay, what is that? Because I've definitely heard that talked about.
I guess I'll start with just Cold Steel because talking about the Legend of the entire, at least all the Legend of Heroes games that are here in the West would call for a whole podcast dedicated to that. So I'll try to keep it quick.
Which maybe we'll do, but not today.
Yeah. But so far with Cold Steel, like the whole premise about it, obviously it's an RPG, but I guess you could say the cool thing about the game is that it kind of follows that aspect, like say Kiznaiver, where you're just following a bunch of characters who would not likely be friends with each other, be put in a situation where they're all attending this military school, but they're placed in this unique class that's supposed to be the first class in that school that has nobles and commoners working together in hopes to create like a perfect combat system using a system called Arcus that lets them communicate and link with each other's attacks so they can fight synchronized in battle.
So, gameplay-wise, is it reminiscent of Final Fantasy or Persona or neither?
It's more like, it has a little bit of tactical RPG element where you can move your characters around, but it's not like you're like in a big field and you're fighting. You just have, you're like in a smaller field, and the movement's just to kind of add a little bit of like that, to kind of give the battles a little bit of life where you see, like the characters and enemies are moving around. And from time to time you can use it to like dodge enemies' magic attacks and stuff.
Okay, so is it kind of like... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, but the beauty about the game is, like, this is a recurring thing with the Legend of Heroes games, is like, at first you look at the game visually from the cover, the characters look like the type of character you usually see in most animes or JRPGs, but then you play the game, like, the game has this way of, like, having each of the characters kind of stand out with their own backstory and personality, and the world itself has like a lot of world building stuff. You'll find like newspapers and books about the country you're in, learn about about the events that are happening, and they're written in a way where you actually want to be invested in this world and learn about its happenings, which also kind of play a role in the story you're experiencing with these characters. And the best part is that the NPCs in the game all have their own little story while you're playing through the game. So like one moment you'll talk to this one person, he's probably trying to get with this one girl. Next moment, you'll see that he starts a family or stuff like that. Or you'll see a story about a character. Oh, like one example in Cold Steel, there was like this whole running gag where there's like these two students are like twins, and you see this whole running gag where one of the sisters keeps playing a prank by pretending to be her sister, putting her in embarrassing situations, like tricking people that her sister has a crush on them, but it's actually her just messing with her.
So basically the NPCs in this game actually serve a purpose other than saying the door is over there and stuff like that?
Yeah, pretty much. And to specify how the game kind of plays out, you mostly progress the game through doing like a bunch of quests assigned to you by different characters. But but instead of it feeling like, I gotta go to X to do this, it actually has this organic feel where, like, as you're doing each of these quests, you're learning more about the game's world, you're learning more about the characters who give you the quests.
It actually sounds a little bit like Atelier, the Alchemy series, when you explain it that way. Because Atelier is all about doing quests and slowly getting to know people in town.
There is a cooking system, which actually makes buying items a lot cheaper than usual.
Oh, that sounds good. All right.
It's amazing too because like there's some really cool recipe. Like there's actually you can actually make a pizza called teriyaki chicken pizza.
Ooh, that sounds good. Well, actually, I would probably just want the pizza and teriyaki chicken separate. I don't know if those things really go together, but I would totally eat both of them. So.
Oh yeah, and the magic system is exactly like if you were to take the Final Fantasy VII materia system and actually improve upon it.
Okay, this just went on my want list, definitely. I realize I have a bad habit of whenever we're talking about anything, if I haven't seen it or watched it or played it, I'll always be like, oh, I'll totally do that. And then I realize, wait, I can't do all these things. I'm not going to have time, but this really does sound like it's in my wheelhouse. So.
And one cool thing I really like about the game too is like whenever you activate one of your character's limit breaks, which in this game they're called S-crafts, you can actually interrupt an enemy's turn and activate your limit break. Like if you're in a situation where you're surrounded by like maybe 12 enemies and you know you're gonna die, you can just activate your S-craft and hopefully it'll take out a good chunk of the enemies, giving you the chance to actually hold yourself in battle.
Sal, why can't we have another life that's like just for video games?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's all Elliot's fault why I got into this series, because he was like obsessed with the company that made Legend of Heroes Falcom, who also made the East series.
Which series?
Oh, East, which some people pronounce Y. It's basically the letter Y.
Oh, yeah, I actually have one of those games and have not played it yet. Someday, some year. Yeah. But when you say Elliot, you mean Elliot who used to do translations for Japanator, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think he's now probably doing. Yeah, he did open up his own translation games blog called Doki Doki Kusoge, and he also did a couple of freelance stuff for like US Gamer, and also he worked and freelance stuff for G4 at Sci-Fi Games, which Brittany, Vincent, and Tim, who formerly worked with us, are writing there too.
Yeah, that's kind of where everybody ended up. They got the band back together. Well, without me, I think I was important in the band, but you know, it's okay.
And I think he's probably now a professional translator, since I haven't seen him update Doki Doki Kusoge in a while. So I think he actually got an official translation gig. But I'm guessing whatever he's translating is probably in secret, so we'll probably learn more about it down the road.
Secret translations. Okay.
This is me guessing.
Okay, well, it's good to hear what he's up to. Anything? Well, obviously that game sounds like it's got me written all over it. But other than that, anything you want to mention for this week?
Oh yeah, I do want to say another thing about the Legend of Heroes series too, Karen. So
Sure.
each game, like there's different sagas. So like the one I'm playing is the Cold Steel series, and then the other one we got here was the Trails in the Sky series. Each of these games take place they all take place in one country, all on the same continent. So if you play like one series and play the other one, you'll see like events from previous games kind of overlap. But like whether it's like the politics of one nation affecting the politics of another nation, or how certain events affect one country.
That's cool. Is it only for PS3?
Oh, it's on the Vita as well too. So if you got rid of your PS3, you could actually the whole Cold Steel series is on the Vita. The Trails in the Sky series, first chapter and second chapter are both on PC, and you can download them through the PSN store on the Vita.
Okay, that's cool.
However, the final Trails in the Skies game is going to be only PC, just because Xseed Games only released the PSP version of second chapter as a passion project for the people who bought the first one on PSP.
Okay, it sounds like the continuity here is maybe a little complicated, but you said I can play it on my Vita, and those are magic words, so...
Yes. Oh, also want to say, too, the English dub is actually pretty good, too. Especially with most of the actors being a couple of newcomers, because it also helped that the game's localization editor, Brittany, she actually was a fan of the whole Legend of Heroes series. So her having experience with a couple anime dubs and along with playing the game in Japanese kind of allowed her to pick out the right people who would bring out the true potential of each character.
Okay, that sounds really cool, and I'm gonna ask that we stop talking about it now, otherwise I'm gonna immediately buy this game from Amazon with money I don't have, so...
Yeah, sorry about that.
Lifesong, what about you? Have you been reading more of the Big Order manga or anything to that effect?
I read a little bit more, but I haven't caught up even with where we are, so it's not like I really have anything new to say there. Let's see, what else have I been doing this week? I played a little bit of the new, well, not new, but Senran game came out on Steam, and I've been playing that a little bit this weekend.
The Steam port? Nice.
Yep. It runs really well on PC. Sometimes the graphics glitch out in funny ways, but
did it fix
that's to be expected.
Did it fix the long loading screens from the Vita version?
I have it on an SSD, so yes.
Okay, so how is this different from the previous Senran games, which I still haven't played any of them, so I only kind of know vaguely like how they play.
This is basically the port of the first Vita game.
Okay.
It's kind of like a Dynasty Warriors style type of game. Whereas the other ones are like the original game on the 3DS is more like a side-scrolling brawler.
Oh, life. Speaking of which, it looks like Exceed is bringing over the Fate Stay Night brawler game that I think is made by the Senran Kagura team.
It is. Yes. I didn't realize they were bringing it over. Is that confirmed?
Yes, it's going to be at E3.
Wait, so there was a Fate Stay Night fighting game a couple of years ago, Fate Unlimited Codes. Now this is another one?
I forgot the name, but it was supposed to be a sequel to, I think, the Fate Extra games from PSP.
That's interesting. I tried to play Fate Extra because I was like, Fate Stay Night and dungeon crawling. This sounds good to me, but like I just did not enjoy the battle system at all, and the dungeons were not fun for me. So I kind of gave up pretty early on. I felt bad about it.
No, Fate Extra is entirely for the characters of the story, and you just kind of tolerate the game.
Did you actually play through it?
I did.
Ah, okay.
I liked it a lot, but it was entirely for the story. The combat system, especially the further you got in, it's just frustrating.
It just seemed, I don't remember exactly how it worked, but I just remember it seemed really arbitrary, and I was like, what's the...
It was rock, paper, scissors, and memorization, pattern memorization.
I remember, and you had to also research your opponent's servants so you know how to take them down or something like that.
Well,
it would make it so that you knew more of the rock, paper, scissors to match up.
Yeah, I like the finding information out about the servant part of the game. It's just that I'm such a dungeon crawler fan, I was like offended that the dungeons were that boring. It's like, can't you throw in a freaking treasure chest or something?
The worst part was that the worst part about it wasn't even that they were boring, is that you wanted to skip through them because they weren't that cool, at least for me. And then if you fail, and they had monsters that could one-shot you if you weren't careful, even if you were careful, you could potentially lose 2 hours of gameplay. Wow. That's not okay when your dungeon crawling is that boring in the first place.
Yeah, well, I have major respect for you actually finishing that game.
It got really bad toward the end.
When I put it down, I was like, I think I was maybe supposed to be the audience for this game, and if I can't take it, who's going to finish it? But, well, now I know.
Yeah.
Long suffering,
I guess it's just for big Type Moon fans who want to see the story for the game.
Well, I found out who Saber was, and I was like, okay, I need to finish this.
Wait, wasn't Saber, Nero?
Yeah, Emperor Nero.
Okay, just making sure, because I believe I heard that somewhere.
Yes, that's true.
So so basically the Senran Kagura game you're playing, it's a port of a game you've played before, or had you not played this one before?
Yeah, I played it before.
Okay.
It's actually the first game that I played. Now it's out on PC. I haven't played it. I didn't play the PC version that much, but I spent a little bit of time on it this weekend. Played with one of my buddies, just played the multiplayer a bit.
Nice.
They made originally in the game you had to level up all the characters, and the PC port, once you have a character unlocked, you can just play it at max level in PvP, which is really nice because I don't really want to have to spend all that time on the game again.
Yeah, not for a game you've already played.
Yeah, and I've already put like 200 hours into.
Yeah. And it comes with all the DLC from the Vita version for free. Yeah, it does.
Okay. So everybody's having a very gamey week, it seems. I'll continue with that. We got the Otakusphere Special Edition, which I guess I finally need to learn how to pronounce it. I think it's Otakusphere Lefthrasir. Let's go with that.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got it in the mail yesterday, and last night, basically I just sat on the couch and watched Wilson play it for several hours. And not only is it ungodly beautiful, but it's so ridiculously convenient. Like, everything that was even the slightest bit annoying or tedious about the first game, they've completely reworked, and I'm just really impressed by how much they did on this game. Oh,
yes. Like, I watched a friend of mine stream it last night, and I was like, oh, I want this game inside of me.
Now, I like Otakusphere, but I don't know if I want to get that close.
No, I'm just a big fan of Vanillaware's art. Like, just the visuals that they make for all their games. It's just beautiful, like the paintings and stuff.
Yeah, I know. I wish more... Well, actually, since Vanillaware's had some success, maybe we'll see some more side-scrolling sort of games. I don't know. Or maybe we already have, and I'm just ignorant. I don't know.
I know they are releasing another game this fall. I think it was called 13 Sentinels. It was supposed to be in a more futuristic setting.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing something about Vanillaware doing something futuristic, and I was like, I don't know how that's going to gel with their art style, but I'm certainly not going to write it off.
Is that the one with, like, the cyborg schoolgirl?
Yeah, I think so.
I remember seeing the promo art for it back when it was, like, first being teased. That's all the more I know.
Yeah. But so far, we just saw that character walking like in a side-scroller scene, but we don't really know what type of game it's going to be, so we're probably going to have to wait until, hopefully, this maybe TGS, or maybe E3 if we're lucky, because that's coming up.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going into E3 completely blind, so if there are any announcements that sound cool, it'll just be a complete pleasant surprise to me. But anyway, because it's Otakusphere, I'm thinking I might actually try to platinum this game, and that's not something I typically do. The last game I platinumed was Atelier Verona Plus for the Vita, which was a while ago already, so yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard that that version of Verona was a more definitive one, since they fixed, I guess, the issues from the vanilla version.
I never played the vanilla version. I only played Verona Plus, so I can't speak to how well it was fixed, but I thought it was really good. I definitely thought it was the best Atelier game I've ever played, and I've played a couple of them now.
Does the game still have the ridiculous animations when you attack? Because I remember that was a thing Gus used to do with the 2D version of the Atelier games and Manakemia.
Ridiculous. Oh, like their special attacks? Yeah,
besides the special attacks, they would also they would be, I guess they have that burst mode mechanic where then your normal attacks and skills also get like some ridiculous animations, and they're all fast paced as well too.
I don't think Verona had that, unless I'm misunderstanding it. Although the characters like special attacks that you use MP for, like a lot of them are very silly. Like there's one where Verona just throws like a pie at the enemy, I think, or that might have been in Atelier Jatori, because she's in that game as well. I don't remember what game the pie in the face attack originates from, but there is one.
I've got like 5 or 6 Atelier games sitting around that I've bought that I've never played, and every time I go to look at one of them, I'm like, oh, I should start this up, and then I realize, oh wait, but I don't have the newest, most improved version of this game, and then I put it down.
Yeah. You know, back in the day, an RPG would come out and you would play it and you'd be like, this is a good RPG, I have enjoyed it, and then you were done. Nowadays, it's like, okay, should I play this now or should I wait for the super ultimate special edition, which is going to have enhanced graphics and everything that's wrong with this one will be improved? And it's like, it's good, but it's also kind of irritating.
Yeah, I just kind of, the last couple of years, I found that I try to save time by waiting, and like, I realize I have this whole stack of games that I just don't play.
Yeah, it's like, can we maybe get like the really good version of the RPG first? Maybe is that possible?
Yeah. Probably not, but it'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
Oh yeah, I'll say one thing, Karen. Best of luck with the Otakusphere Platinum, since you'll have to beat the game in the very hard mode where your HP never levels up. Because I remember that was the difficulty in the original Otakusphere.
I don't know. Are you sure that's a trophy? They probably made that a trophy, didn't they?
I think most. I don't know if they did. I'm just predicting. Like, I haven't looked through the trophy list of the game, but I'm speculating they probably did, because that's usually a thing for every. That's usually a thing for every game that has trophies. Like, you have to beat it on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I won't platinum it because I don't know if I have the patience for that.
I mean, from what I've seen, I think the key is to master the alchemy system, where you just have to start throwing bombs and use your magic.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe once I get really into it, I'll actually want to take on that challenge, but for now, I'm just really happy that I can play Otakusphere in bed in my Vita. It's amazing.
Nice.
I watched Wilson play for a couple hours. I've only played for maybe half an hour myself, because I didn't want to get overly involved in it. I need to get some things done before I spend hours playing Otakusphere, but probably this weekend, I'll probably spend a good chunk of time with it, so I'm pretty psyched about that. And that means I can put down Sailor Moon drops for a while.
Did you get to beat Muramasa before Otakusphere came out?
Yeah, I beat Muramasa. I didn't do everything you could possibly do in Muramasa. Like, I didn't get the third ending with Kisuke, because I would have had to level him up a whole bunch. But I was just like, I feel satisfied with this game. I don't feel like I have to do everything possible. So, okay, so that was my gaming. And another thing I want to mention, on Sal's recommendation, I watched the first season of Rainy Coco, which is a really cute anime about a coffee shop, which features a little brown dog which looks just like the dog in Super Lovers. So,
do they call it a Tanuki?
No, not that I've seen. But it's just kind of funny because now they've opened the coffee shop in Super Lovers and they have that dog around, and it's like, where have I seen this before? But I like Rainy Coco, but it has an opening animation which, for a show that's 2 minutes long, is just obnoxious.
So just like with Panda Peace.
Well, it's even worse with Rainy Coco, because Panda Peace is 3 minutes. Rainy Coco was 2 minutes. So.
How long is the OP?
I haven't timed it. I think it's like 15 or 20 seconds.
That's still pretty bad.
I know, right? I think this show would probably be better served by not being 2 minutes long. Just even if it was 5 minutes, I think it would probably be more enjoyable. Just because one thing happens and it's like, oh, the episode's over, great, wonderful. but I still, because I love coffee shop anime unconditionally, I'll probably end up watching the second season. I don't know if the second season is over yet, but I know Funimation has it. So
yes, because the third season is supposed to be coming out. I think, like I said last week, they're shooting for fall, hopefully. So we'll see.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I remember you saying that. Okay, so we were all proper otaku this week, weren't we?
Yeah.
Buying products and watching anime and playing Japanese games and yeah. I feel good about myself now. My self-esteem needed that boost. Okay, so let's get started with anime. We're going to start with our Senpai League, Big Order, Episode 8. I watched this episode today. I would just like to say I have no idea, who is controlling who anymore or who is on whose side, and I've decided I don't care, and life is just better that way if I don't care. So I've completely given up trying to follow that aspect of the show. But here's the thing about this episode that I found amusing, was that last episode, they build up Senna like she's this evil mastermind. And in this episode, what does she do? But she goes up against a guy with, absolute mind control power and with no plan, except, I'm going to get him to say the thing I want him to say on television. It's like, wait, but you knew...
Well,
what?
her plan wasn't entirely useless. I mean, she figured, if I get him broadcasting on TV, then he's stuck. I guess she didn't realize that he'd make her say whatever he wanted. I don't know.
Did she just forget about the whole mind control thing going on? I mean, did she just not know?
He hadn't actually used it on her before, I guess. I don't know.
No, I think he must have used it on both her and Rin,
yeah,
because they both had
I think that, yeah, they haven't explained his power real well. I don't think she'd actually met him before.
Yeah, and also,
or maybe she met him while she was sleeping?
Probably while she was sleeping, he did something to her. I would say that sounds creepy, but, well, of course it does. It's Big Order.
Oh, well, that's... yeah.
Best part of this episode was just Rin and Senna, eating lots of delicious food and then being like, you're a bitch. You're a bitch, too. Cool, I like you.
Yeah, you mentioned that you've given up on following at this point. I'm a little sad to hear that, because I think that I actually finally see it going somewhere, and I think I know what it's doing.
Okay, seriously, if you do, explain it to me.
Okay. What's the main character's name?
Ag.
Ag. Yeah, he didn't actually cause the...
Great Destruction?
Yeah, no, it wasn't him. It was actually Senna.
Senna? Huh. How do you figure that?
Because the quote-unquote father figure who's carrying her off right now said that she's the key to starting the next one.
Oh, that's... yeah, he did say that. That's true.
And I just was kind of obsessing over that for a little while. And I'm like, for someone who's hyped up like this, there's got to be something else that we're not aware of. That just hit me. We haven't... They were weird about the way they told us Eiji's wish. They didn't actually have him say it. They never did actually acknowledge exactly what it was. They just kind of heavily implied it and left it there. And I bet his wish is something else.
But
it's not what we thought it was this whole time.
What else could it possibly be?
I don't know. Something for Senna, though. Something for her sake.
Okay, why are you dragging me back into Carrie?
Well, it was interesting. I was like, oh, finally, I kind of see what they're doing here. I kind of see the big twist that's coming. I'm not really sure what they're going to do with it. It could be really, really dumb, and I don't know. I really don't know what exactly. But I caught that something was happening, and it's like, yeah, there's a big piece of information they're going to drop on us soon, and it's either going to be interesting or really, really awful.
Yeah, I mean, I know this show was probably incredibly rushed because it only had 10 episodes, but now that we are where we are, I'm glad there's only 2 episodes left, because I can stick it out for another 2 episodes and hopefully find out what's really going on. If this show was like 2 core or something, I just would have been like, forget it.
I would have had to be done too. Go read the manga, finish the manga. But I think it's going to do something interesting, at least at the end. We'll see.
I'm not sure whether or not to say I hope you're right. Because, like, if you're right and it's interesting, then we'll have something interesting to discuss. But if you're not right and it's a big train wreck, that might just be more fun for me. So.
Well, it could be fun either way. Let's look at it that way.
Let's just hope we can have fun either way. We've got to learn from Hanako and Anne Happy and take that perspective.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so moving on to... you're done with Big Order, right? For now?
Yeah.
We're never truly done with Big Order, to be sure.
Never truly done, but I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Good enough. Okay, so we're going to move on to Kiznaiver Episode 9, and this episode surprised me, because I kind of thought we had that big climactic moment in the last episode where he runs after Sonozaki in the rain, and it's also fluidly animated, and they have that great... And she gives him that really dramatic dialogue, and I thought, okay, that was the climax of this arc, and the next episode is probably going to be, kind of coming down from that. And no, this episode just continued to be all climax the entire time. And after it was over, I just kind of sat there thinking, like, wow, seriously? But other than the fact that I was really surprised by just how, I guess, important and epic this episode felt, I'm not sure what else to say about it. Sal, what did you think?
I'm like, yeah, remember that time we were saying, like, man, wait till Mario Kata does something with this show that's gonna, like, mess with everyone. Yep, here it is. It's right here. Everyone's, like, breaking down. Everyone can read each other's hearts. Like, man, there's a lot of instability in everyone's relationships now. Like, I guess this is gonna be the final conflict of the Kiznaiver system before the show ends, like, from what is looking.
Well, they've got at least 3 or 4 episodes left, so I'm really curious how, what they could do from here.
Yes.
Lifestyle?
Yeah, I'm also very curious what they're going to do from here. The system, I think the most surprising thing to me was that the 2 teacher characters, one of them was all totally into pushing the experiment, and the other one just kind of gives up midway through. Like, she was insane, crazy about getting this pushed forward too, and now she's not.
Yeah, I was curious about her. Like, at one point in the episode, she said something like, it's wrong to play with people's emotions like toys. I was like, oh, you're realizing this now?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Who is this?
But they've hinted that there's some strong connection between her and Sonozaki, so I'm wondering if she could possibly be either Sonozaki's mother or older sister or something. And maybe and maybe that's why she's beginning to feel bad about the experiment now that now that Sonozaki is involved more directly.
Yeah,
probably that could be it.
I'd previously guessed that Sonozaki, her, and the male teacher guy, I can't remember their names, but I'd previously guessed they were all in the first Kiznaiver experiment, but I guess that's not the case. But it could totally be something like she's her sister or her mom or...
Yeah, I mean, at first I thought, well, it would have to be your sister because she's too young to be her mother. I was like, wait, these are anime characters. You cannot tell ages from...
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
She could also just be one of the researchers who saw what happened to Sonozaki. So.
Yeah, that's possible.
Did they explicitly? Are we supposed to know exactly what happened? I mean, or was the hinting just hinting, and they'll maybe explain more later, or maybe it's not important?
Do you mean are we supposed to know exactly what happened with the previous experiment?
Yeah.
I don't think so, because there's still some things we don't know. Like, I don't think we know for a fact if the way Sonozaki and Agata are is a result of the Kiznaiver experiments. Like, did the Kiznaiver experiment originally fail, and that's what left them both kind of emotionally stunted in a way, or did something else happen? I don't think they've confirmed that.
But then there was the foreshadowing that she said to Agata about how he's impossible to relate with because of his inability to feel pain.
You're right.
Implying that he had that ability as a kid, and that maybe it was a factor that caused the previous project to fail when they got to the emotional phase of the project.
Wait, did they imply that he was like that as a kid?
I was saying by that dialogue that Sonozaki said, because she was referring to the previous experiment.
I don't know if she meant he was like that before the Kiznaiver project.
Yeah, I don't think that was what she meant. I could have misunderstood, but I don't think that was what she meant.
Let's see. Oh, and did you guys notice that Agata's hair is turning brown again?
Yeah, he's regaining, I guess, or he's healing or something. I guess they really didn't tell us exactly what was going on. I just rewatched the scene a couple times. Like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to understand everything that is happening here or not. So.
I think we're gonna either get some more flashbacks or just have them tell us flat out what happens in that experiment. I'll be very surprised if we don't get more than hinting about what happened the first time around. Because, I mean, we definitely have some idea what happened, but we don't know the specifics. So.
And I guess one question will happen, like, what will happen after they deactivate the Kiznaiver after summer vacation's over?
It just kind of sounds so casual, like, oh, we'll deactivate the Kiznaiver after summer vacation, no big deal. Meanwhile, they're all there lying on the floor and, like, emotional
like
agony.
all in pain.
I was a little sad that the masochist dude, just when he is starting to enjoy the emotional pain, he's like, okay, nope, can't do it. He's on the ground with everyone else. Like, oh, come on.
Well, I think it might have ruined the mood if he was just sitting there like, yes, this is awesome.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Give me more pain. Give me more of your delicious, delicious tears.
He did get his one little moment before it all broke down.
Yeah.
It's interesting we're about to move on to the Lost Village, but it's interesting if you take Kiznaiver and the Lost Village together, and it seems almost like Mari Okada's mission for this season is to make us understand how important your emotional pain, your emotional scars are to your personality, that you may wish you could excise them, but you can't. So, I mean, maybe that's a little obvious coming off these last two episodes, but it feels like it's hard not to kind of be thinking in that direction. But anyway, on that note, let's move on to the Lost Village, and we finally got some real concrete information about what's going on here, and I think this was too late, because I think a lot of people would have found this interesting if they hadn't waited until episode 10 to give it to us, but I don't know how it would have worked if they gave us this information earlier. But I'm glad that I finally feel like I have some footing in the Lost Village. I have some idea what's going on, but I don't know how once your emotional scar heals, you can leave the Lost Village, but, you're less of a person and then you'll die quickly. How that squares with the multiple Nanaki villages theory we were talking about last week.
I don't know. The way I interpret that, I was thinking, maybe it's not really fully healing. Maybe it's the point, like, where if you try to ignore it, like, pretend it doesn't exist to the point where you forget about it.
What do you mean?
Well, like, when you saw the case with the scientist who left the village, like, he didn't really confront the emotional scar like how Mitsumune did when he left the village. He was just living his normal life, and I guess as he got too into the life in the Nanaki village, he just ended up out of the village. They didn't show it in that much detail because it was a quick flashback, but they did show the monster that he saw, and he did confront it, and him getting over it was a byproduct of the fact that his whole scar was worrying that his research was nonsense, and he proved that it wasn't. Okay. And then he was ejected because he didn't have a reason to be there anymore. Okay,
that
was how I took the explanation anyway.
Yeah, that was more or less how I took it as well. But I wonder with Mitsumune if did he really accept his scar? Because basically just at one point he starts following the penguin, but I don't know if that really represents him really internalizing, okay, I'm not my brother, I'm my own person, and I was assuming that maybe in his case, instead of fully healing from it, he learned to be in that point where he moved on from it, but the scar is still there, like learning to live with it. But then, how did he manage to leave I'm confused.
Yeah, apparently you can just leave.
But
that's the only... It doesn't make sense. The big thing that I'm confused on here is not even the specifics of it. It's the theme they have going, which is the whole, you would expect it to be the whole healing, getting over your scars thing. And the latest introductions, like what the plot's actually doing, it seems to run counter to what the theme of the story has been doing the whole time. So I'm trying to put 2 and 2 together, and I'm getting 5. I don't know. You guys having a similar experience?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, because you kind of feel like it's going to go in the direction of you have to face your demons, you can't confront them, you can't run for them forever, you have to become stronger, and then you can move on to the next phase of your life. That would be the typical way for a story like this to operate. But it seems at this point, it seems to be saying the opposite, that if you ever truly confront it, then you stop having a reason to exist. So...
Yeah, your emotional baggage is a core part of who you are, and if you cut it off and leave it in Nanaki village, well, you die.
I do think it's kind of an interesting an interesting way of looking at things, because you can you can see it both ways. You can't just run from your problems indefinitely and not confront them. But on the other hand, if you ever completely confronted it to the point where it didn't bother you at all, that would probably mean it's because you no longer care and you're, you're dead inside. So.
Actually, that's what I was thinking would happen to the professor as well, too, compared to Mitsumune.
Yeah, the professor even looked into Mitsumune's eyes. She's like, "Yep, you still got the scar. Still a little bit there."
Oh, okay. So that explains why Mitsumune probably isn't going to start rapidly aging.
So maybe in his case, he kind of learned, he kind of accepted, he kind of got the courage to kind of be himself and to move on a little bit from what happened to his brother. But at the same time, he still wants to keep the memory of his brother, of what happened inside of him, not discarding that side.
Let's not forget Lion's prediction either. If her predictions turn out being true, then Mitsumone's going to go back, get rid of his scars in the process of helping everyone else, and then he'll die. Probably.
I guess that would be an appropriate ending at this point. I don't know if I'll like it, but it would be appropriate.
I want the theme of the. I don't need to agree with it.
Unless if Masaki ends up being some sort of end-all plot thing.
I wonder if she's even really there.
Yeah, because especially what's the name of the guy she was searching for?
Renji.
Yeah, because that one thing he said, Masaki's love for me is one-sided. Like, what could that be leading to?
Maybe she's his nightmare, and the reason that she's there is she's not actually there. She's an imagined nightmare that's his nightmare in the village.
Oh, so maybe there was a real Misaki who actually died, and this Misaki is the Nanaki village version of her that is there to haunt Renji?
Yep.
Wow.
That's just a guess. That doesn't explain how she left and got on the bus.
Oh. Speaking of another interesting thing I'm kind of curious about, when Mitsumune ended up back, there was that part where his dad was watching that news report, something about a group committing suicide. Wonder if that's foreshadowing towards anything.
Well, it wasn't suicide. They just assumed that they'd all...
okay.
Well, was it suicide? They didn't know what happened to them for sure, did they?
Oh, now that I get back to that scene, I think they were saying something like, getting this group of people that all just, ran off. It's almost like they all got together and committed suicide. I don't think there was anyone actually committing suicide that we know of.
Yeah, I don't think they mentioned bodies or anything like that. I'd have to rewatch it to be sure, but yeah, that was the idea I got. Okay,
and last thing I want to bring up, what do you think of Koharuun as the kind of evil mastermind, Sal?
Wait, oh yeah, the researcher chick.
Yeah, she's
the one
doing something.
I found that kind of ironic because earlier they were talking about, should we suspect this chick, and they're like, nah, let's focus on Masaki. It's like, boy, were they wrong.
Yep.
Volcano has been right about everything from the beginning.
Yep.
Wait, Volcano? I thought Volcano was the one who kind of liked Koharuun.
Yeah, but he didn't trust her. He told her that to her face right before she had him go off looking for Misaki.
Yeah, you're right. He did say that to her. Okay. Just always listen to Volcano. That's the, Oh, this is the next episode of some kind of a funny title. I can't remember now. I should have written it down. Oh well, I guess we'll discuss it next week.
Also didn't expect Jack to be a masochist.
Jack? Oh.
The kid that they had in prison earlier because when he stabbed that one person.
I on the note of Koharuun too, I bet she's not the whole completely evil thing. I bet that there's more to what she's doing there, and maybe we'll learn.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the idea of her being completely evil, but she definitely has not been straightforward with everybody else.
Right.
Actually, one more thing I want to say about the Lost Village before we move on is that at the beginning of the season, we were all assuming that the way this was going to work is they were starting out with a ton of characters, and there was going to be probably a murder mystery sort of situation. They were going to be winnowed down.
They have killed no one.
Yeah, they have killed no one. It's actually made it kind of difficult, because I was looking at the characters, and I was like, okay, where's Soy Latte? I don't even remember which one Soy Latte is anymore.
I actually know where she is. She is in the village with all the people that have decided they don't care anymore.
Okay. Oh yeah, what's up with that? I have no idea what's going on with that. Everybody suddenly being like, yeah, we don't care anymore. They're
all gonna get ejected and age and die real fast.
Yeah, they're all, I guess, in a state of denial.
Yeah, I don't know
Like,
what it is that's making them all act that way in concert. Like, it would make sense if, like, some of them were acting that way, but the fact that, like, I don't know, 20 of them are acting that way at once, it's kind of suspicious.
Something about Anaki Village.
Yeah, but,
yeah, like, I think they're saying something about the Nanaki were growing unstable and that everyone had to get out as soon as possible.
yeah, it's just now that we are where we are with the show, I wonder, did we really need, this many characters? Because...
No.
Yeah, that's how I feel, too. Like,
I mean, could the boss have had that many characters without introducing them all and trying to make them all a part of the show? Yeah, probably. I mean, there could have been a few unnamed, less important, less focused on characters, but they've actually given us a little bit of personality for every single character, and yeah, no, they didn't need to do that.
Yeah, it makes it, I think maybe it makes things unnecessarily confusing. So you keep watching, like, wait, is this the character that did such and such, or wait, is this the one who's important?
I did laugh a little bit when P-Tot was all, I'm tired of this lovey-dovey thing.
Yeah, that was kind of a joke that you were waiting 10 episodes to happen.
Yeah, obviously, right, but...
Oh, speaking of large casts, like on a different topic, but how did Horizon in the middle of nowhere handle that, having, like, a large cast for, like, a 12-episode season, for having 12-episode seasons?
Horizon in the middle of nowhere would have one character reading a newspaper with the events going on, another character with a tablet that has something totally different running across the tablet, while two characters are having a dialogue and a battle is going on in the background. That's how Horizon in the middle of nowhere would handle that.
That sounds a little confusing.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we're done with Lost Village for this week. Okay, so that brings us to ReZero, episode 10. I'm surprised how much Rem and Rem have grown on me since a couple episodes. I was just like, they keep showing me these maids, and I don't care about them. But like the whole demon thing and the way Rem gets the horn and she fights with that cool, ridiculous weapon, they are kind of cool. But I'm definitely feeling like arc fatigue. I want ReZero to move on to the next thing.
Oh, so. It's going to end. It's gotta be. We've got to be 1 or 2 episodes away from the end of this arc.
Yeah, it's just I was kind of hoping it would be this episode, which was probably unrealistic of me. So
I thought it would be. I'm actually surprised that it's gone on as long as it has. I kind of want to pull out the light novel just to find out, is this novel 3? Are we on 2 still? It's got to be 3. We got to be good at getting toward the end of 3, but I don't actually know.
Because the ReZero, I think the novels are out here now, too. So.
They're licensed. I don't know if they're available yet.
Yeah, I don't either. I should... Something to put in the show notes. Just trying to think with ReZero. Hum the Jeopardy theme song. I don't know, I kind of feel like not a lot happened plot-wise in this episode. Well, I mean, okay, a lot happened in that we found out, okay, Subaru's gonna die because of the curse unless they kill all the mob beasts, but then the rest of the episode is just killing the mob beasts, pretty much.
Yeah, there was some neat implications if, you're religiously taking notes of everything that's going on in the show like I've been doing. And in particular was, he was using the fact that he can't talk about his revival power to sort of round up the puppies.
Yeah, I thought that was very clever, actually, that he thought to do that.
I thought it was clever, too, and it also tells me, oh, okay, because I've been having this debate whether or not that is related to the witch or that's something else. No, it's most certainly related to the witch. That was definitive in this episode.
Yeah, definitely. Which makes you wonder if the Flying Witch is the one giving him the respawn power to begin with, since she's the one who's stopping him from telling anyone about it.
You said the Flying Witch.
Oh, shoot. That would be a crossover, which would be amazing.
I still suspect that this is actually one of the other witches, not the Jealous Witch, because I think the Jealous Witch is going to be related to Emilia. Mm. That's just a prediction I've had from a while now, and I don't think Emilia. Well, go ahead.
I don't think they can get out of it being related to Emilia in some way, because they've already said, oh, it's a half elf with silver hair and purple eyes. Are they really going to introduce someone else who meets that description now? It just, I don't know. It would
evil
be lame.
Sister or something, but it would be a whole different arc. It's not going to happen here.
Yeah.
And we've got this puppy that looks like he's possessed. We've got dead witches. We've got everything they're talking about relating to these witches. Okay, I want them to just show us who the mastermind is. I think the craziest, or well, not craziest, but the thing that's confusing me the most right now, I want to know what Roswaal is up to and how he's going to fit into this.
Yeah, I just feel like I can't even guess what he's doing, because I feel like I don't know enough about him. They could pull out almost anything with him and have him be the mastermind or whatever, but I just hope they don't, just because I think that would be lame. So
yeah, I mean, if he's the bad guy and that's what he's been this whole time, I'll just I could see them fitting that in, but it would just be so disappointing. I really hope that's not what it is.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so we done with ReZero for this week?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to, this time correctly, Flying Witch, Episode 9. I thought this was a bit of a misstep for Flying Witch, because it seemed like kind of the whole joke of the episode is that Inukai is a terrible fortune teller. And I think they could have done more with her telling their fortunes, and, because it just seemed like it was a joke that just kind of misfired, I think. Although, on the other hand, it was lovely watching them harvest all the vegetables, and it made me want to start my own vegetable garden, which is probably really more the feeling Flying Witch is going for anyway, So it was still kind of enjoyable, but I was like, okay, was the whole joke that Inukai is a bad fortune teller and it manifested in a not very funny way? I don't get it. What do you think, Life?
Yeah, I think the joke was actually that her fortune telling was correct and it was a bad joke. But yeah, I went through the episode kind of bored, and then afterwards I was just thinking about gardening. I'm like, okay, it totally did its job. Here I am remembering the garden I had when I was younger and thinking I should do that again. That would be fun. And I'm like, no, stop. You've been brainwashed.
The most consistent theme on this show is eating fresh picked vegetables. Seriously, they've been doing that the whole show.
What was it they were eating? I was like, I didn't even know that you could. Ferns. I didn't even know that there were edible ferns.
Well, in this episode they were eating the radishes, right? What else did they eat?
Was that this episode too? They went out in the, or am I mixing up episodes? Where they went out in the forest and they picked the.
Oh no, okay. The forest gathering was a different episode. This episode they picked the vegetables that they grew themselves. They did not go forage.
I thought they did both in this episode, but okay, gotcha. It was just the radishes they grew, and they fed the horseradish to the one girl.
Wait a minute, was it this episode now? I'm so confused. No, I don't think it was.
They're all blend together. I'm sorry.
I don't think it was, because there was most of the beginning of the episode dealt with Inukai, and they didn't have time to go foraging because Inukai was there, right? Maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
I guess it doesn't really matter one way or the other. I hope next week they go back to, not necessarily the Witch Cafe, although I'd be fine with that, but just more of that sort of stuff. So
the Witch Cafe was by far the best part of the show.
Absolutely.
I'd like to see them do more stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on to Joker Game, Episode 10. And I was kind of raising my eyebrow throughout this episode thinking, wow, are they actually giving us like a character spotlight background episode on Yuki? I really did not think they would do that and take away his mystery. And then we get to the end, it's like, nope, they didn't do that. That whole past you saw was probably a complete fabrication, so you're back to knowing nothing about Yuki, and it's probably better that way. Although it is, I guess you're supposed to maybe think that some of the experiences that he made in his fake past come from his real past. You can speculate which they were.
I think that was kind of the romance of it.
Yeah, because it seems like, that seems like something Yuki would do, or is that just what he wants us to think?
Right.
I liked going with the whole kind of philosophy of spying in Joker Game. I like the way Yuki basically destroys this foreign spy's career, but in a completely non-violent way, to the point where the other spy is like, well, I'd really like to spend more time at home with my wife anyway, so maybe I'll just give up on the spying thing, and then goes on his merry way.
Yeah, I was like, no, that was one of the most heartwarming moments of anime this season. I'm like, no, that didn't just happen in Joker. I was very impressed, actually.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that much at the time. But thinking about it now, it's kind of like acknowledging that, yes, spies are cool, but it's also this kind of inherently cynical, dark world where you can't trust anyone, blah, 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 and at some point you're going to want human connection, and it's probably good that at some point you're going to want human connection, and it's kind of, it's unusual that things that deal with spying, deal with the fact that spying would actually be a very emotionally empty sort of thing. Usually they're just like, ooh, look how cool these spies are, ooh, they can do backflips, ooh,
Yeah, so. No, whereas Joker Game takes the James Bond-style spy, and by the end of the episode, he needs to kill himself because he's so lame.
Yeah. Actually, just to go on a bit of a tangent, now people are discussing, oh, should James Bond be this guy? Should James Bond be this guy? Should James Bond be a woman? And all I can think about when I hear that discussion is, James Bond is a boring asshole, and I don't care what they do with him.
Yeah, especially, I think Joker Game has ruined James Bond for me. I don't want any more James Bond spies. I want these spies.
You'll just be imagining, like, whenever James Bond, like, takes care of one of his enemies or something, he'll be imagining you could just be like, killing is the stupidest thing you could do, you stupid war college graduate.
Stupid war college graduate, dude.
I think I'm going to appropriate stupid war college graduate as an insult now. I'll be using it in, like, food wars. No one will understand. No one will understand, but damn it, I'll enjoy it. Okay, so...
someone will get it. Someone will get it.
Yeah. So are we done with Joker Game for the week?
I think so.
Okay, so moving on to Twin Star Exorcists, which has finally done stuff these past 2 episodes. Yay! Woohoo! Yay! They should have done this, like, 5 episodes ago, but...
Like episode 4, yeah.
But nonetheless, they've done it now, so okay, let's work with that. But I wonder if, now that we know what really happened in the Hinatsuki disaster, I kind of wonder if the show has been lying to us with its flashbacks. Because I went back and I watched the very beginning of episode 1, and I can sort of see how it matches up with what they told us in this episode, but it's just kind of... You get the impression from the flashback in the first episode that this horrible thing that happened took place in Megano, and he was seeing, like, the bodies of his friends and stuff. But the thing is, it didn't take place in Megano, it took place in the real world. And his friends had already become, like, hideous beasts by the time he killed them, so he wouldn't have been seeing their cute little dead bodies all around. So I just wonder if they've been really misleading with the flashbacks.
I will point out that Megano has been one of the most inconsistent things the show has done. And it's been like that from the beginning. Like, sometimes they need to use the little charms to get in and out. Sometimes they don't. I read a little bit of the early world building from the manga, like very, very little bit. And it's like, there's this whole detailed system for how it all works, and they completely ignore it in the anime.
Yeah, well, did they explain much about talismans in the manga? Because I found myself thinking about that in this episode too.
Yeah, the talismans are really important in the anime. They just kind of a mystical plot device in the anime, but yeah, they're treated as an important thing in the actual manga. Like, you can tell that the author was keeping them in mind and making it consistent, whereas the anime is like, aha, I don't care.
Yeah, because it kind of seems like, what it seems like is that most exorcists need talismans to cast spells, but if you're a really powerful exorcist, you can do it without them, but only for certain things, maybe, so...
Yeah, and I think that it's just forgetting about them and some of it. Like I think the whole arm thing is like a dark art from a thing that they've already done in the past. I think that's the implication with that.
Wait, you mean because he actually, like, killed a bunch of those Kagura who were once his friends, he developed, like, this dark power or something?
I think that he shares the power with that other kid, and that they both survived the ritual. So they both got the power from the ritual. So he didn't perform it himself, but because he was there in the building with the rest of them, and, he was strong enough, I guess, he survived and has the power.
Oh, right, because it didn't even occur to me that maybe the ritual, what was his name, Yuto? Yuki?
Yeah.
Yuto. No, not Yuki. Not getting my shows.
One of those, right.
Yeah. I think I just assumed that the ritual failed, but because the kids all died, but it's like, oh wait, the kids all didn't die. If the ritual completed for the 2 of them, then they would have more spirit power, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, so I guess that it worked for them, for both of them.
Yeah. What did you make of the fact that he says to Benio, I have no respect for you as an exorcist? Because I kind of feel like maybe her thing is that she doesn't have a lot of raw power, but she has an incredible amount of finesse, and that's something that someone like Yuto would just have no respect for.
Yeah, I kind of felt like his whole introduction was really, I don't know, ham-fisted.
Well, yeah, was that too.
So I don't know what to make of his comment to Benio. When you explain it like that, yeah, I could see it as being, I don't respect you as an exorcist because your power is all in finesse and it's not just raw physical strength.
Because it's like, she's one of the twin star exorcists. She can't be too weak.
Well, compared to him, it did seem like they were both pretty weak. I'll tell you the thing that bothered me the most, though,
Mhm.
was we've got the 12, one of the 12-star generals who's like the ultimate badass of badasses, and he's just standing there watching.
Well, they did give us a reason why, though, because
Because she's going to randomly turn into a demon if he doesn't keep standing there next to her doing nothing?
No, because if they fought, you don't imply that he would hurt his daughter. I think what it's supposed to be, I could be wrong, I think what it's supposed to be is that, badass Exorcist, one of the 12 guy, is a match for Yuto, but he's not so far and away stronger than him that he couldn't fight him and protect Mayura at the same time. So he was kind of neutralized.
Is that what they were trying to say? Is that he's equal power? Because I didn't get the feeling that they were equal power.
Well, I don't think we really know quite how they stack up. I'm just trying to... You're
just trying to make sense of it.
Yeah, I mean, if he was way, way, way more powerful than Yuto, he'd probably be like, no, I can protect my daughter and take down your punk ass at the same time. But obviously, if he has to be concerned... Then...
My understanding of that was that the implication was that I'm going to do the same thing to her that I did to all the other students if you take an eye off of her.
Mm.
I'm like, how is he going to do that without setting up a ritual and performing it?
I think it makes more sense that he was just like, you make trouble for me, I'll hurt your daughter because she's right here. So.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood the implication then.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of similar anyway. Would amount to the same thing in practice. Oh shoot, I had one more thing I wanted to say about this show, and I'm actually going to take a second and check my notes because why bother to write notes if I don't use them? Oh yeah, this is kind of a dumb thing to complain about because it's one of those, well, if this happened then there'd be no story things, but it's just like, once Rokuro said he'd never joined Yuto should have just killed him. It's been like, okay, I acknowledge you're the only person who has the potential to maybe be a threat to me. And then Rokuro's like, no, I hate you. I'm going to work to fulfill my potential just so I can beat you. Then Yuto's like, okay, I'll leave now. Now that I've lit a fire under your ass to get as strong as you possibly can and defeat me, I'll leave now. Like, really?
Well, what does Utah even want in the first place? It's one of those shonen problems where you've got a character that's just a jerk and their motivation is, I like being an asshole.
Yeah, it could be that maybe he wants Rokuro to develop into a stronger exorcist because then he can do like a dark ritual and like eat Rokuro's power or something like that. I don't know. I hope it ends up being something like that rather than him being like, oh, Rokuro, I kept hoping you would change your mind and join me, because that would be dumb. So.
I don't even, I want to say that the storytelling is smarter than that because I've read another story by the same author, but what I'm seeing in this anime hasn't been, so I don't know.
Kind of up in the air on that. Okay, but on the plus side, I mean, it feels like Twin Star Exorcist is finally like doing its shtick, and now that it's doing its shtick, I don't mind watching it. Because for a couple of weeks, I had like this feeling of dread whenever I had to watch it. Like, oh god, not more of this.
I agree. I felt like these last two episodes, like they kind of rushed through what probably could have been the entire rest of the show. Yeah. But nonetheless, I'm glad that they got through it, and I'm interested to see where they're going.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on to Macross Delta. While I don't do my nails because I'm too lazy, but I'll look at them and pretend I'm filing them. So, Sal, what did you think of this week's Macross Delta, episode 10?
Well, finally they had the first death in the show, which they obviously in the obvious way, like, oh, first we're gonna have the festival, we're gonna build up the moment, and then we're just gonna destroy whatever happy moment was set up earlier in the previous segment.
Sure was an episode, huh?
Yeah.
They had so many death flags. So many. I mean, like, if you were to make a drinking game out of the death flags, it'd probably kill you.
Yeah.
I actually like the episode. I like what they did with it. And at the same time, after the episode, I just started thinking about how obvious it was.
Yeah, it's like
I can't call that good storytelling, even though I kind of like the episode. I can't. It
was also them kind of recycling a trope from the original Macross. Like, obviously, the ace pilot's going to be the one to die. Well, before the main cast learns to become good at piloting.
Yeah, and I'll move on from that because it was really hard. It was really hard to take how hard they pushed it, but at the same time, I like the dynamic he had with the what's her name, Konami, something like that. So and you have the whole thing where he's like, I'm going out with a bang, and they sold that pretty well, at least. He's got the VAR syndrome, and he's a goner, but he's going to get his one last fight in. And he did save the day.
So I guess that means that Kaname will end up with the leader of the group, the other captain, the captain of the fleet.
Oh, I don't expect there to be any more romance with her or anyone else. I don't know. Maybe.
I guess we'll see next week, since there really was no preview for the next episode, so could they be taking a break, or did they just do that for the sake of being dramatic?
I don't know.
Okay, so are we good on Macross for now?
Yeah, let's go to Kuma Miko.
Okay, Kuma Miko, episode 10, and for a while there, for a period of like 2 or 3 weeks, Kuma Miko was on a real high over the last 2 or 3 episodes. It hasn't been bad, it just hasn't been as good as it was. It's kind of been, so-so. But, I should be sort of, outraged that Yoshio actually tries to, like, pull Machi's clothes off in this episode, but he's just been so consistently awful in that regard that all I can really do at this point is shrug and be like, well, that's Yoshio. They try to plant the idea that it's really not sexual in nature because he's known her since she's a baby and so on and so forth, but it's still wrong. It doesn't really make it better. But what I did like about this episode was the bit with the cell phones and how Machi's obsessed with having a cell phone even though they don't get any cell reception there. And if you think about it, it kind of encapsulates like her whole feeling towards modern life. Like, she wants this like symbol of modern technology, even though she can't use it for its intended purpose, and doesn't even really understand how its intended purpose would be useful for her. Like, she doesn't have people she wants to call, but she's just like, I have it, I'm holding it in my hand, I have a cell phone, this is me being modern. And it's like, and at the same time, I think she wants to be in the city because she likes the idea of it, but did she really know what going to high school in the city would be like? No, she has no idea. So
Natsu has been right this whole time.
He's always been right.
She would get there and she would not like it, and he knows.
Yeah, and then later when they kind of had the like battle between the two Hicks, like who can out Hick the other, that was kind of funny. But I didn't really get the whole Machi dressed up as an idol business and singing as an idol. That just sort of was like, I don't know.
That was Yoshio being Yoshio.
Yeah,
there's been dumb idol jokes in this anime from the beginning, and they're all related to him.
Yeah, I mean, they've been making jokes that Machi is kind of like the village idol for the entire show, but then this was like a little bit too on the nose. Like, okay, she's the village idol, now she's going to sing as an idol for no reason.
I will say that those 3 stereotypical fat otaku dudes that were really into it, I got a good chuckle out of the fact where they're acting like they're the pros at the end, and they're on to their next gig.
Yeah. Anything further about this episode? Oh, excuse me.
Not really.
Okay. So, Kuma Miko, get back to being awesome and do more with Natsu. You're not doing enough with him. I wanted to get back to Machi trying to go to college. Not college, high school. Damn it.
Yeah, I will say that I really liked the bit with Natsu pulling out the tablet and using Skype. I love that. That was great.
Well, actually, remember a couple of weeks ago, LB was like, well, Natsu can't use his hands very well because he's a bear, but look at all these things he can do. What else he can do? Well, now we know. He can use Skype. So
he can Skype.
Yeah. And also, apparently this is not unrealistic, but I do find it weird that they have internet access, yet no phone reception. Like that. I mean, I know it's because they don't have cell towers, but...
That is a little backwards with what you'd expect most places in the world, but there are places that are like that, where you have wired internet and you don't have...
Yeah, but they've been saying it in the whole show, because they always say in the ending, like, no reception, we have Wi-Fi, though. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to Bakuon episode 10. Probably the first episode of Bakuon I didn't really enjoy that much, just because I don't like Chisame as much as a character as I do the other girls. I didn't dislike this episode, and I don't dislike Chisame as a character. It just kind of didn't hit the sweet spot for me. What did you think of it, Life?
I like the interactions with Chisame and the rest of the cast. The driving school bit was like okay. I like that they're dragging Hijari. Do I have her name right?
Hijiri?
Hijiri, the rich one.
Yeah.
I like that they're dragging her through it, and they've given her someone else to sort of focus on and go through that with. I kind of feel the same way. I like Chisame's character enough, but I think that the most I got out of it was really the dynamics with the other characters. Yeah. I did like the racing machine though. I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, the one that Rin manages to break somehow?
Yeah, the one that Rin managed to break. And then you have another joke with Rin where they're trying to convince Chisame, you just be yourself, and it's not too late. And then they point at Rin. They're like, "That's what being stubborn gets you." Yeah. And she just looks at her and just like, "That's the nail of the argument right there."
Do you think we'll ever get Rin's dad versus Chisame's dad?
That would be fantastic. I don't know that that'll happen, but
yeah, we can hope. All right. So moving on to And You Thought There Was Never a Girl Online, episode 9. LB said last week he felt like the last episode kind of felt like the season finale, and I agreed. This episode, it felt like the OVA special afterwards where everyone gets naked. So
yeah.
Although I will give them credit, they did the nice hair over the boob thing so that they only had to do the annoying censorship blinding light once for like 2 seconds. And it's like, anime people, if you have to do, these fan service scenes in your anime, if you must, do it that way. Do the hair over the boobs. It's fine.
No glaring light beams.
No glaring light beams to destroy the TV broadcast. What did I even... the most interesting thing about this episode was Akko explaining...
At least do the thing where you just have a chibi face of the character covering the boobs. That's more easier on the eyes.
Oh, now that you mention it, a show a couple of years ago, Soft Tenny, a tennis anime, they had little animals over all the girls' privates. And the thing is, I guess I was just naive back then. Did you actually watch
that whole show?
I did.
Nice. I thought I was the only person that watched that.
Nope, remember, same brain. Anyway. But, we had... I guess I was more naive back then, because I thought that was actually just part of the charm of the show, and someone told me, oh no, it's because they're going to be naked in the, Blu-ray release, and they're just covering it up for the TV version. And I was like, I don't want a version of the show to exist where their boobs are actually out. I want it to be little hippos and stuff on top of their boobs all the time.
Well, I will say 2 things. First of all, if you want that, go play the Senran games, because they're full of that, and that's the intended purpose there. And the other is they had a whole episode where, in that show, where they censor 5 minutes of it. They removed it from the TV broadcast because they couldn't show it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It's like episode 3 or something like that, and they're out playing tennis, and this tsunami comes through. And then the next thing you know, one of the girls is naked hugging this... What creature was it? It saved her life. And we have no idea what happened because they cut the whole thing from the broadcast.
Oh, really? Interesting. I should... Well, there's probably an OVA episode or something for that I haven't seen. Speaking of bonus OVA episodes.
I don't know if that was OVA. I don't remember.
Yeah, well, I should... One of these days I might actually go back and watch that show. And I actually don't do that typically because there's so much new anime coming out. It's kind of who has time to go back and watch things. But I thought Soft Tenny was it was the perfect stupid funny. It was this is so stupid I can't stop laughing. It's awesome. So
it was pretty funny.
Yeah. And there was one a couple seasons ago that was similar. I can't remember the name. It was the one about the girls' survivalism club. The survival...
Oh, I can't think of the name.
The airsoft
Sabagebu or something like
Sabagebu. That. Thank you, Sal, and your encyclopedic memory. Thank you. Yeah, that kind of had a... Yes. Yeah, that was kind of similar to Soft Tenny. I just I guess if they're going to do these shows with, all girls doing a hobby, make it funny, and I am so there. If you're going to be all, serious and stuff, But I totally got off the topic of Netoge. Right. What did you think of this episode, Lifestyle?
I'd actually completely forgotten about the fan service aspect of it until you brought it up. The bit that I remembered, the bit that stuck in my memory was the whole thing with the logic at the end of the episode where they're trying to figure out exactly what she thinks of her relationship with Rusian and why she why she doesn't want to date him in real life, or why she doesn't want to have that that title, and she explains it. She creates this perfect metaphor that they all understand, and I was just that was perfect.
Yeah, and it's great. They're all sitting there oh God, Akko has owned us with logic. How can we continue on from this point?
we all understood. Someone call Rusian and get him out here to help us deal with this. Yeah, I mean, I did think the part where they're she's I'm going to call Rusian, and she's naked, and they're all running around after the cell phone. That was dumb, but it's okay. You can have your silly fan service stuff sometimes, anime. I don't mind.
So.
Yeah, I'm much more okay with dumb fan service stuff when I feel like it's in character. And the part of the problem with saying that with her in particular is that if it involves her and Rusian, I don't think that there's a limit. So.
Yeah, as far as she's concerned, like, they're married, and she's like, he's my husband. He can see all of me. Teehee. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe that concludes our Senpai League for the week. We are going to take a quick break and then do our Kohai League. Okay, welcome back everyone, and now we begin our Kohai League, starting with Shonen Maid episode 8. And we were discussing last time how it's a little weird how sometimes they do these like winter-themed episodes and it's still summer and that sort of thing. But in this episode, for some reason, I really enjoyed the wintry theme. It made me look forward to winter, which is not something I normally do. I kind of related to everybody trying to get Chihiro to relax, but if you know somebody like that, somebody who like compulsively like must be useful, must be of service, it can actually be very frustrating. So just another solid but not particularly noteworthy episode of Shonen Maid, I thought. Life?
Yeah, I actually haven't watched Shonen Maid in a couple of weeks, so I caught this episode, and I just thought it was like really charming. It was like, I remember it reminded me, oh yeah, I really like this show. I'm repeatedly impressed by how much I like this show.
Yeah. I think it's cute how, like, there's someone involved with this show who really wants it to be, like, one of those boy band idol anime. And, like, he keeps getting shot down, but, like, occasionally they're like, okay, you can have one musical number, or something like that.
yeah, they put it in there every once in a while.
Yeah. Like, there's someone on in the show who really wants to be on the cast of, like, really wants to be in the crew of Uta no Prince Sama, but they just didn't get that assignment or something like that. So. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else about this episode. It didn't really... I mean, we just sort of seeing Madoka and Chihiro continue to grow closer, and I just think it's interesting, although not unique to the show, that by learning about his mother's childhood through Madoka, it's kind of like, even though she's gone, he's still getting to learn about things about her that he didn't know, so it makes her still a part of his life, kind of. So I like that.
Yeah, the New Year's first sunrise, that was good.
Yeah, got you right here.
Yeah.
Okay, and on to something that didn't get me right here. High School Fleet episode 9 definitely did not get me right here or anywhere. Not that it was a horrible episode or anything. It was, I mean, we know pretty much what to expect from the show at this point, but I was started wondering if maybe they'll do the thing, like, what would impress me would be, based on the way the show is going, would be if by the end, Mike was like, I realize now I'm not cut out to be captain, I should be the officer who goes and does the dangerous missions, Machiro, you should be captain. But I have a feeling the show's going to go the opposite way, like, while continually showing us that Machiro is better at being in charge of the ship, and Mike is better off doing, like, pretty much anything else. At the end, they're probably going to be like, wow, you're such a good captain now, Mike, you know?
Yeah, I think, last week I was complaining, like, well, they're not doing the Kirk thing. Well, they did it this week, and she went off and did her save the day on the little ship thing. So, I don't know how they're going to end it. I hope they just continue with the way they're going now, and it will just be I'm the one who goes off and does stuff, even if I am the captain.
I think I would just be impressed if at the end she realized she shouldn't be the captain, just because that would actually be the show doing, kind of subverting our expectations a little bit. But
yeah, it'd be cool. It would be cool if they did that. I'd be happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to... I guess if you really liked Mina, this was kind of a sad episode, but I mean, I never disliked her, but... I don't know.
I felt sad for... I can't remember her name. The fiction girl. I felt sad for her. She lost her movie buddy.
Yeah, it was cute how they were always talking to each other in movie quotes, and... Yeah, it's like, a lot actually happened in this episode, if you think about it. They finally, like, they actually recovered an entire ship from the evil mind control rabies... with a small team of commandos, and yet I find I have, like, nothing to say about it. Like, oh, well, good for them.
They even brought the cats, which is, it wasn't... they didn't get the focus I was hoping, but they did bring them.
They realized their utility.
Yeah, I think my favorite part of the whole episode, just because it completely caught me off guard, see if I remember her name. Machi, I think, is her name? No.
I don't know names on the show.
The one with the glasses.
I got nothing.
She goes in there with a dual wielding water guns, and she does like there's this little gun kata scene where she's just taking everyone out, and I'm like, that's actually kind of cool. That's that doesn't happen very often in anime. It's something that's kind of a fun thing to see. I don't know if it really fit in this anime, but why not?
Yeah, it was just like a well, this has nothing to do with anything else, but damn, that looks kind of cool moment. So.
And then you have the other girl who's wondering, was I useful? No, you weren't useful. You didn't look useful.
Oh, I should say about this episode, for about half a second, I thought maybe they had actually killed someone off in this anime, and then I immediately felt like an idiot. Like, what show do you think you're watching, Karen? They did not kill someone in this anime. There's one point where the ship takes a hit, and Mashiro asks, are you guys okay there? And they take a while to respond.
And nobody responds immediately. Okay, yeah. No, they were fine. I tell you what, though, there is a quote-unquote character that they can kill in this show, and that is the ship itself.
That's true. Or they could kill the Musashi because nobody likes it.
Yeah, I just can't see them doing that. I mean, like, how would they even sink it? They've said repeatedly that they don't have the firepower to even compete.
Yeah, so but this is a Harukaze. They could probably somehow sink it with like paper clips and spit. They're just that good.
I bet the German ship comes back and helps, and that's part of what's going to go down with Mina. I guess we'll find out.
That actually makes a lot of sense, because I was like, I don't think she's going to ride off into the sunset forever. She's too important to the show. So.
Yeah, I think she'll come back, and they'll help with the Musashi, and they'll lose the Harukaze, and they'll be all sad, but they'll save the Musashi and all their friends on the Musashi.
Yeah, alright, so I think we feel pretty confident we know where this is going now. Okay, moving on to Anne Happy Episode 9. I would like to reiterate what I've said before, which is that the writers have no idea what to do with Timothy since he was in this episode for 1 second.
Timothy did he do something useful?
Well, it was useful in that, okay, he saved all their lives, probably, by, like, absorbing the electricity, but he was still in the episode for 1 second. So, anyway.
He got a lightning bolt.
Yeah. What I thought was kind of interesting about this episode is that it kind of shows that the happiness class kind of ends up being like a character education program, which is probably something that's lacking in like all the other school programs. And there's something, I don't want to make the mistake of taking Anne Happy too seriously, but
no, I think there's a part of Anne Happy, like if you were to apply it to something really serious, it would actually hold up.
Yeah,
and that's part of what I've been. I don't know, impressed by, if that's the right word. It's something I appreciate about the show.
Yeah, because I kind of feel like the lesson that the kind of mean teacher learned was that, oh, well, if you teach people to actually have good moral character and stand up for each other and fight for each other, that's maybe just as important as learning how to be a good athlete or a good scholar or something like that. And
right,
it's something that it kind of makes you wonder, well, why don't the other courses have character education, but the thing is they don't have time to. They've got too much important stuff they got to learn. So
right, yeah, no, I like that. I thought it was pretty cool to see them actually, going somewhere with that.
Yeah, and Happy the surprising depth of the season. I don't really have anything else to say about this one in particular, though.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay, so Tanaka-kun is Always Listless, episode 9. This made me want, like, fast food french fries so badly, and that kind of overwhelmed anything that might have been going on in the rest of the episode.
It's funny for me because I've always felt like I don't like fast food restaurants too much, and the reason always because, like, I feel like they're always the pressure. I've never called it the pressure before. I don't like the atmosphere of fast food restaurants, and so I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, I kind of get that too, because you feel like it's not like a place you feel like you're comfortable lingering. Like, although I think that's changed now that people like bring their laptops or whatever. But yeah,
I do see people chilling with like their laptop or something in a McDonald's or a Burger King. And I'm like, you're not supposed to do that here, right?
Yeah, isn't that weird? Don't you feel like they're going to get kicked out or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, I was like completely overpowered this episode by my craving for French fries, and then Wilson was out doing an errand. He bought Wendy's for lunch on the way back. This was on the weekends, that's why he was out doing his shopping. He came back, and even though I didn't ask for fries, he brought me some, and I was like, oh god, this is why I married you. This is why. I just devoured those fries. But anyway, in other non-calorie related news, I was glad we finally found out who the other blonde chick from the opening was, because I was like, who is she that they haven't introduced her this far into it? But then when they...
Oh, was that girl in the opening?
Yeah, she's been in the opening this whole time, but you probably thought she was Ecchi Zen, because they look a lot alike.
Yeah, I think I probably did think she was Ecchi Zen. I wonder if she's going to be a recurring character now.
I'm pretty sure she is, but it makes sense they didn't introduce her to the last minute, because since she's Ota's sister, it's kind of like a secret, sort of. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I don't know. This was really cute and fun, but other than the fact that it made me want fries, and that's bad because I'm trying to eat healthy. I don't really have anything else to say about it.
Yeah, just I was amused by how much I was like, yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about. I feel that way about fast food restaurants.
Oh, actually, can I just go on a little tangent about McDonald's for one moment here?
Sure.
You have no choice, but I actually won't eat McDonald's. I eat Wendy's and Burger King, but I have like a moral problem with McDonald's, because there is a McDonald's in Penn Station in the city that has a sign that says, if we don't serve you your meal with a smile, your money back, or something like that. And I was thinking, wait, so these people have to work for minimum wage in Penn Station, and now you're forcing them to smile? That is cruel. You should not be able to do that. I don't like you anymore, McDonald's. So ever since I realized that, I've not spent one red penny in McDonald's. So.
Actually haven't eaten there in over 10 years.
Yeah, you're not missing anything. Well, although, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't know, since I haven't eaten there in maybe 5 years, so if they introduced anything good, it's not like I would know.
I think the only way I would eat them would be just if I were to go to Japan or somewhere out of the U.S., just to see the difference between, like, the fast food in foreign countries versus here.
To see the insane Japan-only menu items.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually read a book about that someone who, an American who worked in Japan for a couple of years wrote, and he said his little girls got used to getting like a certain, fish item at McDonald's, and then when they came back to the United States, they're like, why can't we get such and such? We always get that at McDonald's. And he was thinking about it, and he's like, given the way franchises work, they're totally right. How do I explain to them that this is that Japanese McDonald's is different? I guess that's all you can really say. But,
Yep.
Okay, that brings us to a very special episode of Super Lovers. Super Lovers, episode 9. We're just going to laugh for 20 minutes now and not even discuss the episode. Okay, at first when this episode got going, I thought they were kind of doing a Super Lovers sex education episode, like it was kind of an after-school special, and I was like, oh, it's kind of good that they're doing that. That's really practical. And then that very rapidly transitioned to Haru and Ren confessing to each other and basically starting to have sex. I mean, I think you can debate whether or not they're actually having sex or just doing heavy petting, but they're basically having sex. So, I think every show I've seen before that ever had a boys' love element, it's never gone all the way there. It's always remains at hinting, so I should have known better, but I was still surprised when the show was like, okay, they're gonna have sex now. So, I was still kind of sitting there like, wow, they did that. They went there.
They cut it though. I mean, they didn't actually show anything.
Well, they didn't actually show anything, but it's at least implying that they're having sex.
Yeah, they were definitely heavily implying it.
What else to say about this episode? Although it's funny because they started talking about the cafe more in this episode, like how they roast their own coffee beans and stuff, and I was like, okay, enough of this dumb sex. Get back to the coffee.
I didn't even notice that. I think I spent the whole episode just laughing hysterically. I don't even remember half of what I watched.
Now, I almost don't want to broach this topic because it's we're probably not the people to talk about this, but I know there's some elements of moral indignation going on now, like, oh, this is what we were afraid the show would do at the beginning of the season. Now they're having sex and it's awful and it's terrible, and it's just, I can't really think that it's like the show is horrible for society or whatever. I don't think it's really encouraging young men to go have sex with their brothers. I just don't. Maybe I'm being naive. I don't know.
Yeah, it's actually sold the whole thing as a dilemma from the beginning. I can't really... It's actually hard to find anything to get upset with.
Well, I've seen people say that, well, yeah, let's go with that. I've seen people say that it's about, it's grooming, like Haru groomed Ren, and that's why it's morally wrong. But I think if you believe
there's nothing intentional about that.
Yeah, but grooming has to be intentional. I think if you believe it, at least the way the show is trying to present it, Haru was really nice to Ren when they first met because that's the way he is, and there was nothing sexual about their relationship at that time. So, I mean, you could make you could definitely make the ethical argument that Haru should stay away from Ren just because they had that early childhood exposure. It's not a fair relationship, but he definitely was not intentionally grooming him. So, yeah. We are now. I bet there are people who are going to listen to this podcast are going to be like, "They are horrible people. They condone pedophilia."
I don't know. I don't even know. I actually have a hard time finding something to really get upset about with the show. I figured when I started it, just from early reactions and people talking about it, oh, there's going to be something somewhere in here that's going to be like awful. That I'm just going to be like that should not be shown on TV. There hasn't been.
Yeah. Although another great moment in the tome of Haru, Master of Mixed Signals, because when Ren's first explaining how he feels after he sees the DVD, he's like, well, when I think about sexy stuff, I think about you, Haru. There's probably something wrong with me. And then Haru's like deadpan, like, yes, there probably is. And then Ren's like, no, stay away from me, I'm gross. And Haru's like, how did you ever get that idea? Don't decide these things on your own. It's like, you just told him there was something wrong with him.
Yeah, I think he was intentionally messing with Ren. That was the idea I got. I don't know.
But it would be clear that was the case if the writing wasn't so incredibly inconsistent this whole time.
Yeah, I can't say anything against that. It has been super inconsistent.
Okay. So, Super Lovers, well, I said weeks ago that if they're gonna do the boys love thing, put your money where your mouth is, and they certainly have. So I probably have no license to complain about anything that happens from here on in. And, oh god, there's probably some horrible joke about putting something where your mouth is, but let's just... We're all adults here, right? Kind of, sort of. Oh god. Okay, so that moves us to Cerberus, episode 10. And the main thing I took away from this episode was that the super mage guy, I can't remember his name, says that Saraato and Hiro are a pair, and given that we've been trying to figure out what her relationship to Dagan Zot is, what I thought is maybe he has Dagan Zot's heart and she's actually Dagan Zot's soul.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering the same thing. I don't know if she's his soul or she is some other part of him or how
she could be like exactly. She could be like his kidney or his gallbladder or something.
That sounds
probably
like
not.
Something from the story of Grandia 2.
I didn't play Grandia 2, so unfortunately I don't have a reference.
No, only because they're like part of the game story. I think had to do with like the main villain was basically sealed into different body parts, and there were different characters who had like the body parts of the main villain inside of them.
Well, so far the only thing we know has been swapped is the heart of the dragon and the main character.
Which you'd think would cause some problems in terms of physics, but I guess magic is involved, so...
Yeah, we just gotta go with the magic.
Yeah, but okay, let's just go with our little theory here and say that Saraato is Dagan Zot's soul. So does that mean that Dagan Zot is basically running around as a mindless beast killing people because it doesn't have its soul intact? Or has it actually not been killing anyone because it has a soul in the form of Saraato that it's still bonded to in some way? I'm just curious what this could mean.
Yeah, and there's still more about... We really still need to know more about Saraato, too. They've heavily implied that what is the professor's name? I can't remember his name.
I can't
But
remember.
these monsters he makes, he makes them by fusing things together.
Yeah.
So, whatever Saraato is, I assume she's actually more than just one thing.
Yeah.
And I guess that so she has Dagan Zot's soul. What was Dagan Zot's soul combined with? What exactly is Saraato? I don't know. I can't figure that out.
Maybe they'll tell us next episode.
Yeah, maybe they'll tell us. Or maybe what'll happen is they'll actually show the procedure on that one crazy villain character who's probably about to get turned into some kind of monster.
Who's Sharu or Shari, whatever her name is.
Yeah, whatever the one with the umbrella.
Yeah. She's actually the weakest link in the show for me. I just don't get anything out of her. So
I don't get anything out of her either. But she serves her purpose, and I think she's about to get something tragic done to her. So
yeah, maybe she's gonna be. She has that beast she was hanging out with in this episode. Maybe they're gonna be bonded together.
yeah, there might only be one of them pretty soon,
Yeah.
and then we'll be like, making Full Metal Alchemist jokes. And...
I was thinking of Full Metal Alchemist. Okay, so it wasn't just me. Okay, one more thing I wanted to mention about Cerberus is that they had the whole conversation about what a terrible swordsman Hero is, and I think they're actually kind of. He doesn't seem that bad to me. Like, I think what they just should have said is he doesn't have talent as a swordsman, but he seems at least, I don't know, competent. I think in the first episode we saw him beat some soldiers in swordplay or something.
No, he used the hilt.
But still, I don't know. I guess I was just a little offended on Hero's behalf. I was like, no, he can sort of swordplay. What are you guys talking about?
Well, his magic wound up being sword magic too, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, though. They have very much sold the he's terrible at swordplay thing. I kind of see where they're coming from, too, though. They told us how, like, he's been training for 10 years, and he definitely doesn't match up to Giru, that's for sure.
That is definitely true. Okay, so we're going to move on to our Chimi League, Tonkatsu DJ Agetarou, episode 9, and actually I was a little, weirded out by this episode, because I think Agetarou figures out that the girl he likes is working for Yoshiki, his kind of sort of rival, but then he's like, oh, well, that one time I saw her and she was with Yoshiki, she wasn't dating him, she was working with him, therefore she's still pure of heart, or something. I was like, really, Agetarou?
Yeah.
Am I misreading this?
That was kind of weird.
What? Yeah, that was a little odd.
It's like, I thought better of you, Agetarou, but we don't really know his girlfriend, the girl he wants to be his girlfriend, from a hole in the wall, so we have no way of knowing, like, if she's pure of heart or not.
I think they were selling that too from the whole hard work angle. They, she's working, not necessarily anything more than that. But I don't know.
Yeah, I hope what he meant was, she's someone who's working hard towards her dream too. She's someone I can respect.
I think that was what they meant. Maybe something was lost in translation. Maybe something additional and weird was implied. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna choose to believe that's what it is because I don't want to believe Agetarou was a dick. So.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really have anything to say about this episode. They introduced the 2 female DJs. It's like, yay, female DJs exist, and everybody in the universe now knows who Tonkatsu DJ Agetarou is, so good for him. Sal, what'd you think of this one?
Oh yeah, the interesting part was like the part about the sauce in regards to his dad.
That was a good joke.
Yes. Especially when they're trying to go with the moral about how it's important for how one should try to take their time while they're trying to get good at their skill, and then eventually their style will come to them. So
yeah, that's an interesting
just to end with that joke after like such a good moral.
Yeah, now you think they probably just use like a bottled sauce at the restaurant.
Yeah.
that would be funny.
Life, anything further?
Nope.
Okay, so we're done with the Tonkatsu DJ. Moving on to Space Patrol Luluco, which I gotta think about it, because no, we had Kiznaiver this week and some other stuff, so I'm not gonna call it the show of the week, but this Luluco was pretty impressive, because even though we were saying from the beginning they could do anything with the show, they could kill the main character, it's that kind of show, I guess I either wasn't expecting them to do it, or I wasn't expecting them to do it quite this way, because I was just sitting there after this episode like, wow, I kind of shell-shocked. And like, I didn't really think I was... With the kind of show it is, even though I think it's cute at times and funny at times, I didn't really think I was very emotionally invested. But that little moment in the middle where they crush Luluco's heart and then you see her mother kind of stiffen and go, Luluco, that broke me. That was devastating.
Yeah.
So, she's like, oh god, oh no. Now I really hope that Luluco's mom goes on a roaring rampage of revenge and they magically bring the daughter back to life, because I think they could do that on this show. Sal, what do you think?
Wow, it's kind of weird because, like, as unexpected as it was, like, this whole thing was kind of foreshadowed where, right, the black hole app was kind of leading to something weird, like, how this device came to be, and then the little heart, Luluco's heart, was shown in the credits throughout the entire series, throughout the ending sequence.
Yeah, we all thought that was just a stylistic thing, but no.
And then there was the name for Nova, or his name was, like, Alpha Omega Nova. They actually put his name to use in the show. When I just thought, maybe they just randomly named him like that because it's Trigger and Amaishi.
Wait, so what would Alpha Omega Nova actually mean?
Alpha Omega. He is...
the beginning and the end.
Oh,
so he was like
right.
the beginning of Luluco's first love and the end of Luluco's love.
Okay, well, to be fair, I did know that at one time. I just forgot. So,
and I guess Nova's like, oh, maybe. Well, I guess there might be a unless the show ends with a supernova, just to add to the Nova part of his name.
Nova has been Nova this whole time. He's like, I couldn't care either way.
Yeah,
and then
I was just going to ask though, wasn't there one time, I think last episode, where he comes and gets Luluco and she says something like, does this mean what I think it means? And he's like, yes, you're very special to me, Luluco, or something like that. Like, he says he's never lied to her, but if that were the case, then it would have been a lie.
Did he say that? What was the situation? I think there was more to that, wasn't there?
It was the one where she was in the crazy episode where, like, the sex doll got blown up or whatever, and then he, like, pulls her out of it and says, oh, we found the real Ogikubo, and she's like, oh my gosh, is it true? Did you come to save me? Or something to that effect, and he's like, I'm pretty sure he says, or at least Crunchyroll subtitled it as, yes, you are very special to me.
Huh. Yeah,
So
now I need to
wondering-
go rewatch that.
Yeah, I mean, you could just be like, okay, he's just lying. It's not like he's above being dishonest, I guess. But it did seem weird to me when he said, well, I've never lied to you. It's like, wait, is that actually important? Is it possible that when he said, you're very special to me, he meant it and he's actually going to turn out to be some kind of double agent? But I don't know if that's really...
this show could totally go there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, and the other thing, too, like, no one really questioned Nova's origin or anything, so...
They're just like, well, he's here now and he's cute.
Anyone about being
thought of him as a sociopath from the beginning. I mean, that's...
Yep. One more... Well, Life, anything further about this episode before I go on to my little tirade?
Go for it.
Okay, but I was curious what you guys thought about the whole thing about how, well, we collected all the worthwhile things in the universe, so then we decided to collect all the useless things in the universe, or collect the most useless things, and that's kind of like a meta-commentary on, like, collecting.
Yes.
Like, they needed to collect something else, and then they had to discard it in glorious fashion.
I didn't even really get the discarding thing. I thought I felt like there was a joke, some meta joke there I wasn't getting. I thought it would be funnier if they put it in a case with like 10,000 little glass hearts or something like that.
I don't know, unless they wanted to do it for the sake of breaking other people. Or maybe it was just geared for them. Or
maybe it was just if they took the heart and put it in a case, there would be some actual point that they've acquired in a collection. It's like, no, it's even more pointless than that. We don't even have anything to show for this.
I think that was it. They were just emphasizing the pointlessness.
And I find it silly how they referenced the anti-spiral in that episode as well too.
Did they?
Well, remember what they said about Ogikubo? How they get districts like that across the galaxy, wait for them to develop, and then as they grow in value, then they come and steal them.
You're right, they did.
They didn't say anti-spirals by name, but they kind of gave.
I'll say that was a reference.
They just implied that that's how it works, right? Works in a similar.
Does this mean that Tengen Toppa, Gurren Lagann is also part of the Triggerverse, even though that's Gainax?
Even though it's Gainax, and they can't directly include it.
Yeah, it's part of this greater universe. Okay, so Luluco, I am kind of on pins and needles the next Luluco episode because I hope it doesn't disappoint me now that it's done this kind of amazing thing.
I have one thing left to say, and that is I won't be surprised if she's just alive in the next episode.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm not sure whether or not that would be a relief.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Oh, actually, you're reminding me of something.
I guess we got 2 episodes left, so anything can happen in those 7 minutes.
Yeah. But one thing, I said a couple of weeks ago, I hope they don't pull a panty and stockings style thing here, and you could see killing the main characters doing that, but I don't consider it, because with the whole thing with the heart imagery and everything, as random as the show has seemed, they absolutely have been building up to this whole thing with Luluco from the very beginning. So it wasn't just randomly killing someone for no reason, haha, isn't that funny? Like, even though it was...
I haven't even seen Panty and Stockings, and I know that it's different. Panty and Stockings' ending was completely to troll the audience. That was the whole purpose of it.
Yeah, okay. So, closing out this week, as we tend to do with Pande Piece, and I think, again, they didn't have a joke, unless I'm misremembering, but I'm willing to let it slide, because that, like, Cod Roe French bread looks freaking amazing.
Yes.
I want Cod Roe French bread, and I don't think I can get any around here, and it's not fair.
Wait. When they mean cod roe, do they mean like they actually put like cod on the cod? They actually marinate with some sort of cod oil and then they put the mayonnaise.
It's the eggs.
Or is it because of the cut?
Yeah.
It's the eggs. The eggs from the codfish.
Okay. Good, because I was about to go on a tangent. It's like, you mean to tell me it's called Cod Roe and there's nothing cod in it? It's like I don't want to go through another melon pond situation. I've had enough.
Oh god, I just got the. If you're
gonna mention a specific food or something, it has to have that flavor. So I'm glad that this Cod Roe French bread has cod eggs at least.
Okay, I think it would be amazing though if it turned out it was a lie for some reason. Then I just imagine you like sitting there in stunned silence, then like closing your laptop and throwing it in the garbage. Like
I would do that, but I need this laptop. I need this laptop so I can't destroy it.
But yes, even though there's like virtually nothing to say about Panda Peace, I'm so happy we discuss it for things like this. Anyone have anything further about this episode?
No.
There wasn't a joke that I missed, right? There was no joke?
I don't think there was a joke.
No.
They did reference the lightsaber again.
I don't think that counts as a unique joke, though.
Yeah. And the only progress is like, oh, hey, the two bread girls have something in common, but that's it.
Yeah, I think at the end of the season, I'm going to watch Panda Peace again, because why wouldn't I? And I'm going to keep track of which episodes have at least one joke and then do a final tally.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like it would be entertaining for me. Okay, so...
Maybe it'll flow better because you'll be marathoning it instead of watching it weekly, too.
Probably I'll just be watching it like, damn, I need to eat me some good bread, and I'll stop in the middle to like go to a bakery or something. I don't know, I'm pretty obsessed with food lately. I wonder if Food Wars is going to break me, but we have a few episodes to go before we get to that. Okay, so we have reached the end of our giant list for this week. Thank you, listeners, if you stuck with us all the way to the end. Thank you, Lifesong. Thank you, Sal. Thank you, me, for putting off playing Otakusphere for just a little while longer. Okay, and good night, everybody.
Good night.
Take care.